trailer has finally dropped, and it confirms what fans have been whispering about for months. Amy and Nathan are getting married. But before you celebrate, there's more to this revelation than a simple love story. Because behind the beautiful smiles and heartfelt vows lies a storm brewing that could shake the very foundation of Heartland Ranch. This isn't just a wedding, it's a turning point, and not everyone is happy about it. Heartland Season 19 wastes no time pulling us into the emotional center of Amy and Nathan's journey. The trailer doesn't just confirm their upcoming wedding, it paints a picture of a couple ready to commit, yet surrounded by quiet uncertainty. Amy, after years of loss and healing, has found someone who understands her world: horses, family, and quiet resilience. Nathan, once a mystery to the Heartland crew, has gradually stepped into a more stable and grounded role in Amy's life. Their connection has grown slowly, marked by mutual respect rather than grand romantic gestures. But now, standing on the edge of marriage, both must confront what this next chapter truly means. The news of their wedding spreads quickly across Heartland Ranch, triggering a ripple effect through the family. Jack is cautiously optimistic, seeing Nathan as a man who may not be Ty, but is willing to walk beside Amy without trying to replace the past. Lou, ever the realist, worries about how this decision affects Lindy, who has only just begun to settle emotionally. Lindy's bond with Nathan is strong, yet fragile, and the wedding feels like a test of whether that bond is built to last. As the family navigates these changes, everyone must reevaluate what love looks like after loss, and whether letting go of the past truly means moving on. But just as the family begins to adjust, an unexpected presence disrupts the peace. Nathan's older sister, who made her tense debut earlier in the season, becomes a more active force in their lives, and not in a supportive way. She questions Amy's intentions, whispering doubts and making subtle remarks that sting more than they first appear. Her cold politeness masks a deeper bitterness, one rooted in unresolved family issues that Nathan has tried to leave behind. As Amy and Nathan plan their future, this silent war simmers beneath the surface, threatening to undermine the trust they've worked so hard to build. Meanwhile, Amy is dealing with more than just wedding preparations. Her pregnancy adds emotional complexity to every decision she makes. She's carrying not just a child, but the hope of a new life, and that makes her vulnerable in ways she hasn't been since Ty's death. Every step forward with Nathan brings up memories of her past, and while she's ready to move on, healing is rarely a straight path. She's strong, but the pressure to hold everything together, her daughter, the ranch, her grief, and now this future, is overwhelming. And that's when cracks begin to show. Even the ranch feels different. The familiar comfort of Heartland is still there. But subtle changes, a new stable hand, financial decisions that don't sit right with Lou, and tension between staff members begin to create a sense of unease. It's as if the land itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to go wrong. And viewers can't help but feel it too. Just when things seem almost too perfect, the trailer hints at a complication. A line, a glance, a hesitation. Something's coming. And it might not just threaten the wedding, but everything Amy has rebuilt from the ashes of her old life. As wedding plans accelerate, so do the whispers, both from outsiders and within Amy's own heart. On the surface, everything seems perfect. The dress fittings, the invitations, the gentle excitement in Jack's voice as he talks about walking Amy down the aisle. But behind the scenes, there's a growing tension that's impossible to ignore. Amy starts to notice that Nathan is holding back, avoiding certain conversations, brushing off questions about his sister's sudden involvement, and retreating into silence when things get complicated. This is not the open, gentle man she's come to trust. Something has shifted. And Amy, who's trusted her instincts around horses and people all her life, begins to wonder if she's about to make the biggest mistake of her life. Meanwhile, Nathan is dealing with his own private storm. His sister, now a constant presence around the ranch, continues to insert herself into wedding plans, subtly undermining Amy, questioning every choice, and reminding Nathan of promises he made long before he met Amy. These aren't just family quarrels, they're warnings wrapped in guilt. Nathan begins to pull away emotionally, not because he doesn't love Amy, but because his past is clawing its way back to the surface. Secrets he never meant to keep start surfacing, threatening to tear apart the fragile trust he and Amy have built. And Amy feels it. She doesn't need to hear words to know when something's wrong. The man who once stood beside her through chaos now seems like he's drifting somewhere she can't reach. She tries to talk to him, to understand, but every conversation ends with more questions than answers. Amy begins to wonder, is she really ready for this new life? Or has she been running from her grief, searching for stability in someone who isn't ready to carry the weight of her world? Amidst this emotional confusion, Heartland itself begins to show signs of strain. Lou, facing pressure from investors and struggling to keep the ranch financially afloat, begins pushing for changes that clash with the traditional values the family holds dear. Jack becomes protective, trying to preserve the legacy of the ranch while keeping the family from splintering apart. And Georgie, still adjusting to her return, finds herself caught in the crossfire, torn between loyalty to Amy and the desire to support the new dynamics in the family. Everyone is trying to do the right thing, but no one agrees on what that looks like anymore. Then, just when things seem to settle, a moment of peace before the big day, a shocking revelation surfaces. A private conversation overheard, a document found in Nathan's belongings, or a confrontation with his sister reveals the truth. Nathan hasn't been entirely honest, whether it's about a past relationship, financial troubles, or unresolved legal issues tied to the ranch. What matters most is that Amy feels betrayed. She confronts him, her voice filled not with anger but heartbreak. This was supposed to be a new beginning, but now it feels like everything is falling apart again. And still, amidst the heartbreak, the uncertainty, and the rising tension, there remains a quiet question. Can love survive when trust is broken? Can two people build a life when their foundations are cracked and their pasts are still echoing in the present? Amy stands at a crossroads, facing not just the decision to marry Nathan, but the decision to believe in second chances, even when the first chance ended in tragedy. The trailer confirms the wedding, but what it doesn't show is whether Amy actually makes it down the aisle, or if someone, or something, stops her before she says, "I do." And that's the mystery Heartland Season 19 is holding tightly in its hands, one that promises love, heartbreak, and choices that will define the future of the ranch forever. Love isn't always a straight path. Sometimes it winds through heartbreak, doubt, and impossible choices. Amy's journey in Season 19 is more than just a love story. It's a reminder that healing takes courage, and starting over takes strength. As the wedding day approaches, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about vows or rings. It's about trust, forgiveness, and the future she's brave enough to choose. Whether Amy says "I do" or walks away, fans will witness a turning point that redefines everything Heartland stands for. Family, resilience, and the power of holding on, even when it hurts.